Welcome to this new Gen Society video where I will be discussing why having a good job slash a decent standard of living will not be sufficient in obtaining a good quality of life. I understand how this may be controversial, but hopefully after watching this video, you'll understand my thought process on why it's becoming more difficult to live. Survival in its most basic sense involves meeting essential needs to sustain life. If someone lives in a first world country, the small list of basic physical needs should be widely available due to low prices and it being provided for the welfare state. However, we are currently living in 2024, where many people would aspire to have a lot more than these basic needs, which are put here as air, water, food, shelter, and sleep. Instead, they would want to have wants. Now, this could literally be anything from wanting like 100 Lambos to simply wanting like a McDonald's Big Mac or even like a Happy Meal. But overall, people want to maximize their quality of life. And how do they do this exactly? You get a job. Now, the majority of people in the world cannot simply rely on having like these multi-billionaire like ancestors or having like a few couple million in like savings from like their family. So essentially, they must provide value in the form of having like a product or a service, and that's essentially what a job is. Now, let's just say that you're a plumber, for example. That's a service, and you're providing value in like cleaning people's pipes. Not even just a service. As a job, you could be like a pen maker and you're providing value in letting people to write. And there's plenty of other examples. Like essentially, most people like if you're like a grown adult, you would have a job. So I don't really need to go like too into this. But the reason why this is important is because this is how you get money. And with this money, this is how you can afford your wants and your needs. So earlier, the wants were the needs were some things like air, water, and stuff. Well, you don't really pay for air unless like you're pumping your tire, but you do have water bills. You obviously do pay rent or mortgages on your house. But then there's also the needs that I went through as well, like going to a nice restaurant. And this all seems generally simple. You get a job, you make something, you help people with something, you get money, you get to spend that money on nice things, everyone's a winner. But the thing is that this is simple, but how much money would you actually need to afford a good lifestyle? Because I'm already doing this right now. I'm creating a value making this YouTube video, but will this video give me like 10 million pounds straight away? No. But would it give me like zero? Well, right now, since it's a new channel, then yeah. But hopefully, like if this channel increases over time, then it should make me something. But how much would actually be enough? I think that's the actual question that we should be asking. Now, in the UK, there's a national living wage, and this is where the government has essentially said how much money is needed to survive. And this is nice and clear to see at £11.44. So that should make everything clear. If you make that much, then you should be okay to live. It's not really that clear, and there's a lot more nuance to this. Because in the UK and also in the US as well, there's also minimum wages, and this is something that the corporation slash business slash whatever has to pay you legally. But the thing is that there is no legislation saying that a business has to give you the living wage. And the thing is that the government, they're sneaky, and we could get into this in like a lot of videos, but essentially the minimum wage is lower than the national living wage. So if you're a business, you're going to give people the minimum wage, aren't you? Because that's how you're obviously going to maximize your money. Now, let me read what's said in this PowerPoint slide. So, will a good job be adequate? Now, the median salary, so essentially the average for full-time workers in the UK in 2023 was basically £35,000. Now, this is I don't really I can't really give like a proper conversion in like dollars, but I think it's like around 40,000 and something. So it's like okay, it's literally like an average income, so it is literally okay. So when you take things like tax, national insurance, and well, it's just them two in this PowerPoint slide, but obviously this 27,000 is going to be less when you consider all of these other payments that people have to be paying. That will give you £2,397 per month, £530 per week. If you work, I guess, a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, it'll give you £106 per day or £13.26 per hour. And I think I'll do a lot of these wages like per hour because it's quite convenient. And since my channel is trying to engage young people, a lot of young people are having a wage instead of a salary. Well, if you are having like a good salary at like a young age, like after like before like uni, for example, then congrats because you're making it. But let me not digress. And what this shows is that if you're an average citizen living in a high income country such as the UK, you're only making £1.82 over the living wage per hour. And this is concerning because it means that you only have £1.82 to spend on non-essentials. So that the thing is I don't even know what £1.82 could get you in like 2024 these days. Like because for me, like for my part-time job, I can get food for £2, so I wouldn't even be able to afford having my food at my part-time job for a cheaper price with £1.82. So that should show you how this is a bit sketchy, you see. So essentially, because of that, yes, you would be able to pay for your needs, but good luck with trying to pay for your wants if we're being particularly honest. And this should be concerning because in places like London, where there's a London living wage, theirs is £13.15. So that means that if you are the average person with the average to good job, uh, yeah, it's not looking too good for you, to be honest, because you're literally like I don't even know. It's just not good. It like the stats don't lie at the end of the day. It's not a good situation. So yeah, and the thing is as well as that it's not going to this situation like in general is not going to improve. It's only going to get worse. We've had like a cost of living crisis since around what 2020, and at this rate, does it look like it's getting any better? No, I guess if you look at like graphs and stats, and maybe yes, but is anyone actually feeling that things are getting better in real life? No. So essentially, what this is all showing is that it's becoming more clear that although you could be able to survive, well, not really could, you can survive as long as you work decently hard doing your full-time regular job. It's going to be very, very, very far away from actually getting full-on prosperity. But now, obviously, this New Gen Society channel would be focused on engaging with young people, as you can see. So at the moment, a lot of young people may be working in part-time jobs, well, such as myself. And to put it simply, they pay pretty low wages. But like, it does make sense. You can't really complain. A lot of these part-time jobs in retail, hospitality, they're not really necessarily like high skill jobs if we are being real. And as I did previously mention, there has been an influx in demand for jobs which has stemmed from problems such as the cost of living crisis, which means that a business can afford to continue to pay low wages because ultimately at the end of the day, because there are cost of living crises, because people need money, they would want to work for almost anything. And if people want to work for almost anything, there's going to be more jobs available. Sorry, scratch that. There's going to be the same amount of jobs, but more people applying, which is going to make jobs more competitive. That's correct. And you see, these businesses, they can continue to pay these low wages. They don't really care about us. Sure, they have these like ethics, like standards, and they want to be all good, but ultimately, the business's main priority is profit. So the businesses won't do anything about it. The government just generally likes to keep the things the same every single year, every single new government. So that's just staying the same. So ultimately, us young people are in trouble. And with problems such as the cost of university, it means that people are unable to increase their skills. And overall, this causes more people to stick with their current jobs because they don't really have the chance to move. And this can grow into an even larger problem because there's obviously job scarcity, but there's also new technology like AI, which is making many occupations redundant, and this causes unemployment. Ultimately, like if you wanted to work in like computer science, for example, AI could easily do like 90% of your work, like at minimum. So good luck with trying to find jobs like that. And it's not just that as well. Even look at like regular service jobs with like the part-time jobs I was talking with. Like if you go into like a McDonald's, like in the past, obviously you'd get served by like employees. But now all you have to do is click a few buttons on a machine and there you go. And that's just tons of jobs just disappearing into thin air. And ultimately, I can continue going on about this again and again and again. But overall, if you are a young person, then beware because there is danger with your job and with your future job and your future livelihood. Because the world is only going to get more difficult to live economically. And having a stable job is not only difficult, but even being able to survive is difficult these days as well. So it's very, very, very concerning times. With my final thought, I'll put them all here on this presentation. If you live in a country like the USA, like the UK, a high income country, there will be provisions in place to help you survive. A lot of these countries have a welfare state where you'd be provided with like subsidized or even like free healthcare, water, a lot of these basic essentials. So you should be fine in that manner. If you make a minimum wage, if you're not working overtime, if you're not working 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, 365 days a year, then good luck. Because ultimately, in this current day and age, in big 2024, it's getting increasingly difficult to survive. And finally, my third bullet point here is that the job market is more competitive because more people are simply applying to jobs and there are less jobs available. And it's young people who will suffer the most because of it, because you're competing with not only other young people, but you're also competing with people that may have already been working in that job for years on end and who already have experience, because that's another problem with a lot of jobs these days. It's just the fact that they want people working for like 5 years, like work experience in like a specific industry, and it's all just a bunch of like, I don't even know. But that's not the time right now to talk about that. And overall, I'd be more than happy to continue the discussion on what's needed to survive, live a decent life, or even a luxurious life. And I have so many ideas of what to talk about because there's so many discussions in detail I can go into talking about a subject such as this. And right now, I'm using PowerPoint, and for a lot of these slides, I do have like a note section that I'm reading through as well, just to make sure that everything is like attempting to be cohesive while I'm doing this. And I think that the slides are a decent way of providing like key information just because like obviously you're not going to be constantly hearing my thoughts at 15 minutes. You may want to scroll back and forth, and I do think that the slides are a good way of doing all of that. So finally, thanks for watching. Since you're at the end of the video, if you do not like and subscribe, then I'm assuming that you probably are on that minimum wage job. So if I was you and if I was trying to get that money, then I'd like and subscribe because that way you'd probably make a higher income. I don't know why. I'm just saying so. You've got to trust me. And again, thanks for watching, and I'm out.